You know what this show is about? It's all about being alone. What is up, Flick fans? Welcome back to my channel. Every weekend, we're talking about the brand new movie or show on streaming, and this weekend, Amazon Prime is dropping a series called Solos. Only 7 episodes. Each episode not very long, so it's somewhat of an easy binge, but is Solos worth watching in the first place? We're going to talk about it, spoiler-free review. I need you guys in the comments down below. Let me know, what was your favorite episode, since every episode is different, and who was your favorite lead out of all of the episodes? Let's talk about it. So 7 unique character-driven stories, that's kind of the focus of Solos. Each character will set off on a thrilling adventure in a somewhat uncertain future as they'll come to reckon that even during our most isolated moments, we're all connected through the human experience. The series was created by David Wheel. It stars a plethora of incredible actors and actresses, from a Morgan Freeman to an Anne Hathaway, Anthony Mackie, Helen Mirren, Uzo Aduba, Constance Wu, Dan Stevens. It is a really incredible cast, and I mean one of the best casts of the entire year, television or movies. But every episode stars one, or in one case, 2 of those actors, and we're kind of going on this journey where that specific character is either alone, or a few of the episodes involve our actors talking to themselves, whether it be in the future, in the past, a clone situation. It's very sci-fi heavy. This show essentially will remind you of Black Mirror as it is going, but Black Mirror with one character, and I guess this show is a lot less trippy than a show like that. So each story does have a compelling element or aspect to it. A few things that I mentioned so far. My personal favorite episode was actually the final episode, and that episode stars Morgan Freeman and Dan Stevens. That episode was dealing with a topic that's very heavy on my heart, and that is dementia. That is, something I think a lot of people can relate to. But of course, there is that sci-fi twist and spin where Morgan Freeman is kind of recollecting some things, and essentially every episode runs through the dialogue, and every episode runs through whatever performance that actor or actress is giving, and not one performance is bad here. My problem with this show as a whole is the fact that certain episodes don't quite reach the heights that others do, speaking specifically about the final episode of Morgan Freeman's, which again is genuinely one of the best things that I've seen in quite a bit. But when you have certain stories that you just don't care as much about, and at the end of the day, a few of the episodes that I enjoyed, a few of the episodes that I didn't enjoy, that makes for a bit of a divisive series, and a series that I'm just genuinely curious whether you all are going to respond to it or not, because I don't know if the writing overall, and again, they're all different, and each story is its own thing, but I don't know if the writing overall was compelling enough to keep everyone on board to get to that final episode. Now, we start out with Leah, and that is Anne Hathaway's episode, and it featured this sci-fi twist that I was like, okay, well, it's similar to what we've seen before. I wasn't as sucked into that story, but I was definitely on board to see what these other episodes were going to bring us. And then we go into Anthony Mackie's Tom, and that one was actually pretty sweet because we have Anthony Mackie having a conversation with Anthony Mackie, and we're trying to figure out what the concept of this specific episode is. And that's kind of how each one is laid out. We kind of start out with one character, solo, on screen. Sometimes they're talking to an artificial intelligence. Sometimes they're talking to themselves. But we always end up going on some sort of emotional journey. Peg was one of the more compelling episodes. That's Helen Mirren's episode, where she is in her mind trying to right the wrongs of the past. Sasha is one that is almost all too familiar at times. Compelling enough. Jenny and Nira, those weren't the most compelling episodes in my opinion. I feel like the writing could have and should have been a lot stronger. And that's kind of where I come back to at the end of the day, is the show itself, 7 episodes, each episode around like 25 to 35 minutes. And the majority of the time when I would get to the end, I would just be like, oh, okay. If you're going to stick with the shtick of it just being one actor on screen, then there needs to be something that keeps you on board, keeps you locked in, and allows you to be moved or emotionally riveted by the dialogue. And there are going to be moving moments in every episode because, again, the performances here are just fantastic. I mean, they have to be for the show to work at all. But because it was so up and down, and because the writing wasn't as strong as I wanted it to be in multiple episodes, again, I just feel like it's an up and down concept as a whole, and Solos doesn't quite deliver on what it was trying to do, and that was create this riveting and compelling series of stories. Even though we get 2 or 3 in there that were very riveting, and again, one that I was just absolutely in love with, the rest I was just like, oh, okay. And at the end of the day, it's so tough to judge this as a whole because each one is so different, and I guess that goes with all of these anthology-type series. If I had to grade my favorite one, I would probably go around an 8. If I had to grade my least favorite one, I would probably go around a 4. And that's why I'm hovering around my score of a 55%. Look, at the end of the day, Solos has the top-notch performances to make for a compelling series, but the writing, it's just not quite up to par. But there's a lot of good in here. The filmmaking in general, the cinematography, and just kind of the almost haunting nature of a few of these hardcore sci-fi stories. I think that's going to capture a lot of audiences, but I'm curious to see what you all think at the end of the day. How did you feel about the series as a whole? Did every story engage you? Did some of the stories engage you? That's kind of the camp that I fall in, but I do think there is interest, at least for me going forward, to see what they can do next and if they can course correct some of the ideas behind these stories. But you guys know me. I love good sci-fi. I'm hoping they do some more with this concept, but we'll just have to see. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Stay tuned. Lots more reviews to come. Like I said, I'm talking everything, almost everything, dropping on streaming earlier today. In the Heights, my review on this channel now. I'll see you guys soon.